Good evening, YouTube, and welcome to Melzie Has Comics. Here we are today showing you my pull of current comics from the last about 4 weeks. This video is kind of 2 weeks overdue, but I have been sick with really bad sinus issues for about the last couple weeks, and haven't been able to have good enough voice nor clear enough sinuses to get this video out. So this is my pulls from probably late March, maybe early April through middle of early May. So probably about 5 weeks worth of comics here. So first we have the Star Wars number 50 facsimile from Marvel. This is a reprint of the original Marvel run, issue number 50, commemorating, I think Marvel's just releasing facsimiles in commemoration of their anniversary this year. What was it, 80 years? Something like that. However many years Marvel's been around. So this is one of the many reprints they're doing. And also to kind of advertise the upcoming issue number 108 that's coming out here in a couple weeks, which is going to be the first Legends comic that's been released by Marvel since they lost the license. First new Legends comic released by Marvel since they lost the license back in the 90s. Next we have Uncanny X-Men number 17. These books are probably going to be out of order. I just didn't really put them in order. I'll put them in order next time. This is the Uncanny X-Men run coming out of the Disassembled storyline, where a large majority of the well-known X-Men are stuck in the Age of X-Man universe, taken there by Nate Gray, who's Cable. Nate Gray, I'm sorry. Nate Gray. I mean, Jean Grey is his mother. Nate Summers, excuse me. And we have a Uncanny X-Men team of lesser-known X-Men that are heralded by Cyclops and Wolverine. The returning Cyclops and Wolverine, both who returned from being dead recently. This is issue 3 of the Marvel's awesome Alex Ross drawn and written Marvel's comic. I love Alex Ross artwork, and I bought this specifically because it's Alex Ross. I don't own all of the original Marvels, but as soon as I heard that this was the 25th anniversary and they were going to be reprinting all of the issues in an annotated version with like a whole bunch of added material at the end, I knew I had to get them, even at their $8 double-sized issue price. I bought the regular, and I get the variants because can't get enough Alex Ross. Here we have the Han Solo book from the Age of Rebellion maxi series. This is one of the 8 or 9 books in this version of the maxi series, which started with Age of Republic, now is into Age of Rebellion, and then after this coming Wednesday's Darth Vader book, or actually no, I think Darth Vader comes out next week. After the Darth Vader book that comes out, we'll be going into the Age of Resistance series starting in June or July. Hulkverines, this is issue number 3 by Greg Pak. This book is ridiculous. Who can't enjoy a story that is just the Hulk versus Wolverine versus Weapon H, which Weapon H is a combination of the Hulk and Wolverine. So yeah, this is a crazy book, but yeah, it's pretty fun. Age of Rebellion special. I'm going to try to go through quickly on this because this is the 3rd time I've tried to record this video and I keep making mistakes, so least amount of mistakes. I'm just going to keep going through. Major X number 2. This is the new Rob Liefeld series. Just not a huge fan of Major X, but it's Rob Liefeld. I kind of felt I had to buy it. Being a fan of Cable and being a fan of Deadpool, This is his next newest character in the Marvel Universe. Might as well just, hold on to it. Notice he still can't draw feet. Next Gen is from the Age of X-Men line. This is issue number 3. I haven't completely gotten through the disassembled storyline for Uncanny X-Men, so I haven't read any of this yet. But I've heard it's not great, so I'm not really in a hurry to read these. But I collect all X-Men, so I have the books anyways. Also from the Age of X-Men line, we have Amazing Nightcrawler number 3. I love Nightcrawler. This is actually a neat cover. Star Wars Adventures number 20 with Anakin and Yoda on the cover. These are cute books. Cavan Scott has always been pretty consistent in writing decent stories for young children. They're not going to be super. They're not going to win any awards or anything, but they're great books for kids. And if I have 3 nieces, one of which who's a teenager, 2 of which are way too young to be reading comic books or reading anything for that matter. But when they get older, the teenager one doesn't really have any interest in comic books. So if the other 2, when they get older, I want them to read Star Wars comics, these would probably be the ones I'd give them. Because they're just fun reads for the kids. They're easily accessible. They tell a new story every issue. There's nothing you have to follow. If you know Star Wars well enough, you know the characters. They're just a great buy for kids. And they bring them out in trade paperback very quickly, 3 issues. They're not very long, so you can always have something new to buy for your kids. Here's issue 21 with Han and Luke on the cover. Issue 16 of the Uncanny X-Men with, this is the variant, this is cover B. The LCS I go to, this is actually the only variant I get from them, because this is the only book that I buy from him that he actually has the variant available to get on the pull list application we use. But the rest of my variants I get from Midtown, which I will have a separate video on going through my variants for the last month. That'll be another long video. Here we have Wolverine and the Infinity Watch number 3. This is by Jerry Dugan. I'm a huge fan of Jerry Dugan from his Deadpool run, and I'm looking forward to reading this. Here we have Firefly by Greg Pak. Greg Pak is also going to be taking over the Star Wars book from Kieran Gillen when he leaves, with I think issue 65. I think that's 2 issues from now. And when Kieran Gillen leaves, Greg Pak's taking over, and I'm actually looking forward to that because I think Greg Pak has established himself as a Star Wars writer and will do a good job keeping that series ongoing. Another Age of X-Men book. This is Extremists. Dr. Aphra, number 31, from Cy Spurrier. Dr. Aphra is always a good book to read. Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, number 1. Really just bought this because I'm collecting the Star Wars comics. Didn't really feel like this book was really worth reading. I may get to it sometime, but from what I've seen of it, it's not blowing me away with art or with story. Here is a book that has blown me away with artwork and with story, although I'm not up to this particular issue yet. I'm a little behind. This is the donnycates Venom run, which donnycates is taking a brief break from Venom right now to work on Absolute Carnage. So Cullen Bunn is filling in for the War of the Realms tie-in. So issues 13, 14, and 15, I believe, are going to be all Cullen Bunn written. Perfect person to put on Venom. He's done Venom in the past, and Cullen Bunn is just an awesome writer. And I think it's Pablo Coello on artwork. I could be wrong with the first name. But Ryan Stegman is also working on Absolute Carnage, and I very much agree. Put Donny Cates and Ryan Stegman on Absolute Carnage. Let Coello and Bunn fill in for the time being. They can certainly do a good job filling Venom's part of the storyline in for the War of the Realms. And what I've heard that Venom's been doing is actually pretty neat. It does involve Malekith, the Dark Angel from the Thor series, has done something weird to Venom, and Venom is actually walking around sans Eddie Brock, which I haven't gotten to that part yet, so I'm not sure how that happened, but I'm looking forward to finding out. Star Wars Vader Dark Visions. This is the series that replaced the Shadow of Vader series that got canceled. That was going to be penned by Chuck Wendig before he got fired. To be honest, I'm not a huge fan of this series. It's very strange. I kind of like Dennis Hopeless as a writer, so I was kind of looking forward to this, but where he's going with these stories, it definitely feels like it was rushed. It was hastily put together, that he took Chuck Wendig's idea for these one-off stories on Darth Vader and put his own spin on them, and put a very rushed spin on them, if you ask me. The first issue was good. The second issue was kind of bizarre, but also kind of funny. Involved kind of turning Vader into more of a mythic creature, a mythical person in the eyes of Imperial officers. But then this issue just went very bizarre. This is almost like, the best way I can compare it is if Darth Vader was Joker and this girl on the cover was Harley Quinn. That is the best way I can explain it. She falls in love with Vader and goes crazy for him and is willing to do anything she possibly needs to for him, and then she finally expresses her infatuation to him, and he gives no fucks and kills her with a force choke. Basically, she walks in on him while he's in his meditation tank, and she sees him out of his suit and declares her love for him. He's annoyed that she got in and just basically force chokes her and kills her, and calls his attendant in to clean up the mess. I could definitely see a lot of social media reaction to this book saying, why did he have to kill her? He's just, they're just promoting abuse with his. Well, I'm like, this is Darth Vader. He's not a good guy. Whether you believe he can be redeemed, whether you know he gets redeemed later on by Luke, he's still not a good guy. This is still dark Anakin Skywalker. Does not give two fucks about anything, because at this point he thinks he's lost everything he loved in the world, and he's just working on pure hatred at this point. So I guess I can kind of understand why he would be annoyed with someone like this person. Just didn't necessarily think I needed to see it in a comic. So we'll see how issue 4 goes. Uncanny X-Men War of the Realms tie-in. This is issue 1 of 3 by Matthew Rosenberg. He is doing an awesome job writing Uncanny X-Men. I hate to see him go. In a couple weeks, we're going to be getting the great Jonathan Hickman taking over the X-Men books with the House of X and Powers of 10 series, which are basically going to reboot the entire X-Men universe. And nothing is going to be the same. I'm a little excited because I don't know what that's going to entail. I hear nothing but good things about Jonathan Hickman. I wasn't reading Marvel at the time that he was in his strongest with the Fantastic Four and Avengers and Infinity and all that, but I'm looking forward to it. Age of X-Men Prisoner X number 3. Deadpool number 12, Skottieyoung Deadpool. I love this run. I love Deadpool, as some of you may know. I've mentioned that a couple times, and I specifically like this run. This is like one of my my favorite, absolute favorite run is Dugan Posehn Deadpool. Right behind that would be Jerry Dugan himself, Jim Kelly, Danny Way. This is definitely up there. I haven't found a run of Deadpool that I don't like, I guess you can say. So I guess you could call me a fanboy. But I really do like Skottieyoung's Deadpool. I think he's found his stride now, and I'm kind of disappointed that he's going to be leaving with issue 15. Possibly because Deadpool's going to get rebooted along with the rest of the X-Men characters, X-Men universe characters, because I believe that is including Deadpool. Because he is a part of the House of X and Powers of 10 event. Major X number 3. Star Wars number 65. Okay, so it wasn't 65 that Guillen is leaving on. Maybe it's 67. I know it's somewhere in the middle 60s. But we've only got 1 or 2 more issues of Guillen left. Buffy the Vampire Slayer number 4. This is a great run. I like a lot of the changes that they've made to Buffy. They've kept a lot of it the same, but also a lot of it different. She's still going to Sunnydale. She's still in high school. There are certain things that are changed, like she's got a job, her mom's got a boyfriend. Angel doesn't get introduced immediately. Giles is still the librarian, still her watcher. Cordelia's nice, whereas in the TV show she was not. Willow is from the get-go is lesbian from the get-go and does not find out she's a lesbian later on in the series like she did in the show. Xander is still Xander, very unsure of himself, and actually the first couple issues he's been kind of a part narrator for the book, which I found to be interesting. Originally I thought it was Buffy, but it turns out it's Xander writing in a blog. This issue introduces Angel. Yeah, this is gonna be a fun read. Uncanny X-Men number 16. This is the regular cover. Star Wars TIE Fighter number 1. This book, I did read it, and it's alright. I've heard that the companion novel Alphabet Squadron is kind of a slog to get through, simply because you don't really care about the characters. The writing is kind of okay. We'll see. That book's supposed to be coming out here in a couple weeks. Here's Angel number 0, written by Brian Edward Hill. I have not read this yet. I'm looking forward to it. Savants number 4. This is from a local publisher, Source Point Press out of Detroit. Drawn by Seth the Moose, who I have seen. I've never met him specifically, but I have seen him in one of my comic book shops that I go to in the area. Is friends with him. He brings him to the shop all the time. This is reprinting a book that came out quite a few years ago. I think like 4 or 5 years ago. The artist now, or the writer, has since passed away, but they're reprinting the book through Source Point Press. I'm looking forward to reading this. I need to get issue 2 still. I missed getting issue 2 when it came out. Star Wars Adventures Flight of the Falcon. This is a one-shot. Spider-Man and Deadpool number 50. This is the end of Spider-Man Deadpool, which is sad. I love Robbie Thompson's run on Spider-Man Deadpool. Joe Kelly's run was also great. I'm just sad to see the series going, but of course Deadpool is probably going to be changing with the Hickman reboot, so hopefully Robbie Thompson gets a chance to write some Deadpool on his own series. Age of X-Men, Apocalypse, and the Extracts. This is number 3, with Colossus on the cover. Colossus and Apocalypse on the cover. Dr. Aphra number 32. Boba Fett number 1 from the Age of Rebellion series. And last but not least, this is the end of the Hollywood storyline for Hit Girl Season 2, number 4, written by Kevin Smith. I have yet to read 2, 3, and 4, but I read number 1. Well, I guess I looked at number 1 since there wasn't a whole lot of writing in it, which is appropriate for a Kevin Smith book. But I hope that Kevin comes back. I hope he does more comic books. I like his comic book writing. Some people, it's not their thing. You kind of have to be a fan of him to be a fan of his comic books. Either you like him or you don't like him. But I like him, so I hope he comes back and does more comic books, possibly even more hitgirl, because I do like hitgirl. That's it for this run of books. I still have a box of variants from Midtown to show you. I'll do a separate video for that, and then about maybe 20 or so books that have come in through the mail of back issues I've bought on Facebook, eBay, etc. To go through, and those will both be separate videos because this one's already at 21 minutes. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, let me know how I'm doing, and hopefully this time I'll be happy with this version of recording, because I don't feel like wanting to do this again.